I'm Colin, and today we're going to talk about 5 paver installation mistakes and how to avoid them. Each of these 5 different mistakes in this video that we're going to be covering are performance and longevity related. We're going to have one side of this demonstration box here constructed with a standard paver installation of dense graded base, bedding material, pavers, and edge restraint. And on the opposing side, as we demonstrate each of those 5 different mistakes, we'll be able to show you and manipulate that pavement to show you the difference in performance and why you need to avoid them. One of the more common installation mistakes we see is the idea that there's little or no gravel underneath their pavement system. This happens a lot because the excavation requirements for even a pedestrian application are very, very deep, and it's a lot of material to move. So most people just scrape it down to dirt, put some sand down, and run their pavers. But the problem with this is if you have no gravel underneath there, the gravel is what's stabilizing your subgrade underneath your pavement to promote longevity and performance over time, especially when considering vehicular load. It's incredibly, incredibly important. So what we have here in our demo box is a proper installation with dense graded gravel that's compacted, our bedding sand and pavers, and then a non-typical section here with just a bunch of sand to try and replicate something that would be like soil and a little bit of bedding sand or something to try and level your area. You can already see that's a little bit humpy bumpy because it's very, very hard to level sand if it's in varying depths because of just putting it on top of dirt. And what I'll do is I'll get in here and I'll jump on either side, maybe move around with a hammer just to show you the difference in the stabilization that the proper installation has versus the improper installation. An even more common mistake we see as opposed to the lack of gravel is that someone will do the specified amount of gravel, they just won't compact it properly. You can do this one of 2 ways. It's either with the wrong size machine or with no machine at all. Either way, you want your gravel, whether it's open graded or dense graded, as compact as possible in order to promote longevity. It typically tends to follow the subgrade if there's any contours or humps and bumps underneath there if it's not compacted properly. So in a few years' time, you will see settling and there will be no longevity there. In our demo box here, we have our proper installation like before. In our improper installation, we've matched about the same height of gravel. We have dense grade 3/4 minus in here. One side in the proper section is compacted. One side in the improper section is not. Then we laid our bedding and our paving stones, and same thing like before in the other mistake, I will get on top of here. I will jump on these paving stones, I'll move them around a little bit, and you will see how fast any type of load will affect improperly compacted gravel. Now, even if you surpass the past 2 mistakes, which was lack of gravel and lack of compaction, this third mistake will still put your project in jeopardy if you don't make sure you avoid it, and that is the lack of slope. Traditionally, we want to see at least 2% slope in a sand set paving stone application, whereas in a permeable paver application, you can have 0% slope and water is intended to drain through them. The truth is, majority of paving stone projects are sand set paving stones and water specifically designed to run off of them. If you don't do this, if you build it completely level, you will have some issues with infiltration, washing out fines in your 3/4 minus or your bedding sand, and promoting settling over time. So in our demo box here, we have constructed one side proper with 2% slope and one side improper with 0 slope. We'll take a watering can with water, dump it on there, and you will see in real time the effects that moisture can have, whether it's rainfall, flooding, or so on and so forth, can have on your paving stone project, and you make sure you want to avoid it. The fourth paver installation mistake we see is the use of the wrong pattern. Now, when it comes to pedestrian traffic, whether it's a walkway or a patio, it's not as important because there's not a lot of forces trying to shift that pavement in any direction. So you can use any pattern you pretty much want to, as long as everything is installed properly, it will perform great. But when it comes to vehicular traffic, the pattern becomes very, very crucial. If you have anything like a running bond or a stack bond, things with four corners meaning, or just long lines in the direction of traffic, you will see some shifting in that pavement over time, even if everything is installed correctly. You want to stick with a simple pattern like herringbone, where there's lots of opportunity for interlock to reduce that shifting. So here in our demo box, we have herringbone on one side and stack bond on one side, both in our Holland stone. We're going to kind of try and simulate some shifting in that pattern just to show you how much easier it is in a running bond or a stack bond versus something strong like herringbone. So now we're on our fifth and final mistake for this video, but I just want to mention that all of these other mistakes leading up to this all contribute to the best function of your system. But this fifth and final mistake is what's going to be literally encasing this paving stone project, whether it's a walkway, patio, or driveway, together, and will still have failure even if all those four other mistakes are not done. So this is edge restraint. And edge restraint needs to be installed directly on top of your gravel base, whether it's a hybrid, open graded base, or it's a dense graded base. But it's probably the most common thing we see, that people take a plastic edge restraint or a concrete and they put it right on top of their bedding material instead of scraping it away. So here in our demo box, we have our proper installation in which we scraped away the bedding material, we put the edge restraint on top and nailed it down. Then we have our improper area, which is the same thing, herringbone Hollands, and we just put that edge restraint, the plastic snap edge, on top of that bedding. We're gonna be putting a watering can on this to show you just how fast moisture, whether it's from rainfall, snow melt, so on and so forth, your irrigation, your garden hose, will wash away that bedding material, create a void space underneath your edge restraint, and it'll lose all that structure and longevity, which is not good for any paving stone system anywhere. So hopefully if you have a paving stone project coming up, you watch this video before that happens so you can make sure you don't make any of these mistakes. We see them all the time, they're very common. Last thing we want you to do is do all the hard work of installing these hardscapes and have to go back and fix something later that you might have missed from within this video. So good luck on your next paving stone project, and we hope this is a big help to you.